shows what some are calling an illegal search outside a Northeast barbershop. D.C. Police Chief Peter Newsham says it shows his officers doing their jobs, but ANC Commissioner Anthony Lorenzo Green says it shows young black men being terrorized by officers violating their constitutional rights. An investigation is underway.
And that controversial search we saw in Northeast is prompting a lot of questions right now. Did police have the right to search these men? But more importantly, what do you do if you find yourself in a similar situation? This is Melody Bates. She's the principal of Melody Bates Consulting, and she's here to talk about this. Melody, good to see you.
Thank you.
So you work a lot in the field of criminal justice advocacy and reform. When you see instances like this, and we've seen a lot of instances over the last couple of years, not just here, but across the country.
Right.
You know, what goes through your mind when you see things like that? Do you find that people react out of fear, or is it easy to think about what you do in a situation like that, or are you worried for your safety?
I think you're definitely worried for your safety, especially as you mentioned what's going on all around the country right now. And I think the best thing to do is to be prepared, to know your rights beforehand, before you get in a situation like that, and just really remember to be calm, be polite. Challenging misconduct does not happen on the street. You know, it will happen later on when you can file complaints and things of that nature. So the first thing is just remember to be calm. The goal is to get in and out of the situation as quickly and safely as possible.
You know, I gotta tell you what really changed the game too is when you look at it like this camera phones, clearly, that changes the game because you have that real-time documentation. And I know a lot of people in instances like this are concerned about, it is totally legal. If you're being confronted by police, you're in a situation like that, you have a right to shoot that with your camera.
Yes, you have a right to film. You have to do so in a way that does not interfere with the police activity. So if they ask you to back up, comply, back up, but keep recording. If that is you in the situation, try to get as much information as you can so you can file that complaint later. The badge number, the name, ask the officer for his card so you can handle that later on.
And I think some people feel like they find themselves in situations like that where the police are hesitant to give that information, but that's something that they more or less have to do in that situation.
They should definitely ask every time. And also, as you heard on the video, the gentleman said, I don't consent to searches. Okay. I think it's very important to assert that. Let them know that you know that your rights. I don't consent to searches. Officer, I wish to remain silent. Officer, are you detaining me or am I free to go? All of those things are critical to remember when you're in these circumstances.
Yeah. So as we move ahead, I know we saw this unfold. If you saw the video, did the people involved react properly, even though they're challenging the techniques here, they're challenging what happened? Do you feel like the people reacted properly here?
I think they remember to record. They remember to say, I don't consent to searches. I think also just remembering to be calm and not try to escalate the situation. Unfortunately, it may have to be on you in some cases, but to remember that. And if you are arrested, to ask for a lawyer. You know, and also in this day and age, we keep all of our phone numbers in our phones.
Yeah, we do.
So try to be prepared and have those 1 or 2 numbers that you remember. So if you unfortunately are arrested, you have those numbers to call.
Yeah, I think that's always the most important thing. But the reality is, this is I say reality again. This is the reality for a lot of people across the country right now, where you have to have these things in your back pocket. You have to have this in the back of your mind, and it behooves a lot of folks to you know, it's tough to remember to be calm in a situation like that.
It is.
Any techniques that you suggest that people, you know, take a deep breath and step back and just, you know, remember those certain points?
Exactly, and I think even practicing before you go out. I wish to remain silent. Officer, I don't consent to searches. I think repeating those things, becoming comfortable saying those statements will really help you.
Okay, Melody, thank you very much for
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, and back over to you, Sarah.